Hey guys, it's Mike here and I'm back with another video. In this video, I'll be talking about the basic tools used in Photoshop and some helpful panels that allow our workflow more easier and faster. So I would like to recommend that you would reset your workspace by clicking on Window, Workspace, and Reset Essentials. So now we have the same working environment to work on. The first helpful panel that I would like to talk about is the Information panel, which is located on Window and click on Info. This panel is very helpful, especially to those who are using previous version of Photoshop, because previous version of Photoshop will not give us a visual feedback which CS6 has. For example, if we're going to create a new file and we're going to create a shape, as you can see on the right side there is a visual feedback that the width and the height of the shape now is on 364 by 114, and on the previous version of Photoshop you need to look at first on the Information panel to know this information. So this is very helpful in making website and elements. The next panel I would like to talk about is the Characters panel, which is located on Window and click on Character. So this panel is very helpful in building a website because, as we know, we usually do formatting text and styling text. For example, on our logo, Burn Studio, we are able to resize this to 60 and make it bold or make it italic, and we can adjust some letter spacing, like make it 75 like that, make it 100. So this is very helpful. The next panel will be the Layers panel, because in Photoshop CS6 it allows us to search through the elements that we created already. So for example, if we're going to create another shape here, like we'll name this to nav. As you can see right here, there is a new options panel on the Layers panel, which allow us to filter. For example, like here, filter for pixels. The pixels only in the canvas is the background. So if we're going to click this, the background will show like that. And this for adjustment layers, but this time will be no. This text only one, shape only one, and lastly the smart object. And what's good about this is it allows us to search for names. If we're going to click on this and click on name, so this is very handy if we have multiple layers already and we name it properly, like for example navigation top, navigation bottom. So we just search it here and it will appear. For example, if I'm going to search for the text that I made already, for example here, Burn Studio. So as you can see, the only thing shown in the panel will be the text. So that is very handy, and I recommend to use Photoshop CS6 to make our workflow more faster and easier. So that's it for the panels. Let's delete this. And now I'll be talking about the basic tools used in Photoshop in building a website. The first tool for me will be the rectangle tool or the shape tool, because it allows us to create the elements on the website. So for example, if we're going to right click to this and select rounded rectangle tool, and let's zoom this in to 100%, you can see it right here. So if we're going to create a button, for example, let's make this 150 by 45. And let's set the radius to just 5 pixels and hit OK. So here is the shape to represent as a button. And as you can see, if we're going to select this, the rounded rectangle tool, we have the options panel here for the shape. So the current width now is on 150 and the height will be 45. And also we can adjust the radius here and change the fill color. And what's new in CS6 is it allows us to create strokes. For example, we're going to activate the color, and then let's change this to, let's say, red, for example. Then the stroke will be a dash stroke or dotted stroke, like that. And we have the options here. So for example, the gap will be 5 pixels. So as you can see right here, we have now a dash stroke. So that's very handy in Photoshop CS6. The next tool will be the move tool, because it allows us to move certain element on the canvas. And what's good about move tool is, for example, if we're going to create a text here, for example, like that. And let's change this to white in order to see, like that. And what's good about this move tool, if we're going to select both layers, it gives us the option here to align it like vertical centers and horizontal centers. So if we're going to click this, it will align vertically, and click this to align horizontally. So it's perfect now that the text is on the center of the shape. So this is very handy. And the next thing I would like to talk about is the text tool. As we know, we are placing text on a website, just like on our Warframe, the welcome text and the logo. So for example, in text also, there is a new feature in Photoshop CS6 which allow us to create lorem ipsum text directly here in Photoshop. Like for example, if we're going to drag it like that, and let's place some text by going to type and paste lorem ipsum. Let's change this to white, or rather black, like that. So this is the text tool, and new in Photoshop is to allow us to just paste the lorem ipsum text directly. And then I would like to talk about the rectangular marquee tool, because it allows us to align the shapes by selecting some selection in the canvas. For example, if you are going to select like this, for example, this is the total width of the header, 500 pixels, and we're going to place this button on the center. So what we're going to do is click on the button like that, and then click on move tool, and let's place it on the center like that. So this is very helpful in aligning also the elements. Next thing will be the ruler tool, because it allows us to measure the elements, or what is the distance of the elements. For example, if we're going to measure 20 pixels from the left. So make sure that you look at on the information panel and place it like that. So if we're going to move it 20 pixels, as you can see on the width and height, the width now is on 28, so let's make it 20 like that. And to create guidelines, just click on the ruler tool and drag some guidelines like that. So if we're going to move this, we're just placing that on the guide like that. To turn on and off the guide, you can just press on the keyboard Ctrl plus colon to hide it and click on again to show it. Next thing will be the free transform, because it allows us to transform elements on our canvas. For example, if you're going to make this button bigger, let's select this and click on, or press rather, on the keyboard Ctrl T, or by just access it to edit and free transform. It allows us to transform now by holding on shift and click and drag to move it like that. And also we have the option here to, by just, if we're going to decrease it by 20%, make it 80 like that. So that's basically it for free transform. Next will be the hand tool. This is very handy also in making a website. If we are focusing on this area only, by pressing the space bar on the keyboard, we're able to access the hand tool, and by dragging on the mouse, we are able now to focus only on this area. So with the panel and tools that I mentioned, I think we can now proceed in making our Warframe more presentable. So on the next video, we will start making our Warframe by using the tools that I mentioned, and I hope the beginners out there can follow through. So see you guys on the next one.